Welcome to another episode of The Shift, powered by ETH Insights. The Shift showcases business leaders delving into the intricacies of their fields, uncovering challenges, opportunities, and strategies for moving forward. Watch The Shift to gain valuable insights from industry experts and stay ahead of the curve.
Hello, this is Sunevanshu from ETH Insights, and today I am in conversation with Mr. Shantanu Bhattacharya, who is the CEO for Blue Cocoon Digital. Absolute pleasure to have you with us.
Thanks.
Shantanu would want to understand, so I believe you're a founder, being a promoter. How did the journey start for you in the sense of what was your eureka moment? So where did you start this from?
So the eureka moment was AI. Even the theme, what we hear about AI is being spoken of, it is disruption, development, diversification, right? So the traditional concept has to get disrupted if we have to bring in something new. That is where AI plays an important role. But as we understand, AI is artificial. It will imbibe a lot of human thinking into the model. So we as an organization started in the digital services space. While in that journey, we also have an innovation lab where we leverage technology, AI being one. By using that, we have been able to bring in solutions specifically in the agri and the food tech space. Because both these verticals, we believe, are important when we talk of environment and sustainability. So what is the issue? The issue is the global population, which is increasing. The statistics say we would hit close to 10 billion by way of population by 2050. That is huge. And that is going to put a huge pressure on the entire ecosystem when it comes to making food available to this larger population. So what is the role we can play? In the agri space, what we have done is we are trying to improve the yield of crop. Because that contributes to, if we are able to reduce the wastage, we are then being able to make the food available to a larger population. And how are we doing that? So our AI model or the product which we have, right from the soil quality analysis, it takes care of soil quality analysis, it takes care of early detection of disease in crops. It recommends the usage of chemical, thereby contributing to green revolution. We are looking at aspects how to reduce the carbon emission. These are directly contributing to the environment. From a sustainability perspective, as I mentioned, if we are able to improve the yield by following all these processes, farmers are finally using the technology. It is a very easy to use technology. You just need a smartphone. You need to capture an image and you have a recommendation. You capture an image of a crop and you have given the stage of the disease in a particular crop. There is a recommendation engine which will talk about the portion of chemical to be used. And because otherwise what happens is, if it was not for AI, if it was not for a tool, first is you're not able to capture the disease at an early stage. What happens is then it is caught at a later stage and the farmers are then forced to use the chemical, pesticides, insecticides indiscriminately. And finally what happens, it directly affects the environment, because we as human beings, as primary consumers or as secondary consumers, finally would take that consume it. So that is where AI is playing a role from an environment perspective. From a sustainability, when I slightly touch upon how we are doing it in the food tech space, end product, any food before it is rolled out in the market, there is a huge testing which happens, right? Because you have to meet the nutritional value, you have to regulatory compliances, everything has to be done. And the variation of so many tastes given the likes and dislikes of people, you have to meet those aspects. Diverse country, diverse country, right? But to meet that requirement, what happens, there is a lot of testing which happens in a physical lab, which then calls for a huge wastage of food as well, because till you reach the desired outcome, you will keep going on with that testing. So what we are saying is, if we can, and that also contributes, because if we are able to reduce the wastage of food right at the physical lab, then you are making it available to a larger population to again consume. So that is our ethos. So So we said, can we look at bringing in AI and do something in this space? So what we have done is we bring in the legacy data of all the test runs which have happened for a particular company. We feed that back into our model. Instead of everything getting tried in a physical lab, we are doing it on a AI model. So what happens is all those tweaks which are required to get to the desired outcome happen on an AI model, and we are able to give the recommendation, 2-3 recommendation, and our use case and our experience says that we are able to give them an outcome from an AI model, and they get the desired outcome, they get the desired result. So thereby we are reducing the wastage of food at a physical lab.
While you're catering to the largest sector, so agriculture being in India and food being the most important necessity, I want to understand, you would have few competitors in the market, or globally maybe someone who's doing similar line of work. How do you differentiate yourself and how do you reach out to more and more of your clientele there?
See, competition is there in every space,
Yes.
right? But then we are talking of catering to a very large population. So today, if we are a 140 crore kind of a population only in India, close to 45% of that would be connected to the agri ecosystem.
Yeah.
Mostly the farmers and their families. Right? So from a reach perspective, even with whatever competition is there, I think still there are not enough players to reach out to every farmer to promote smart farming or to promote technology to them.
Yeah.
So our USP definitely is a solution which can be easily adopted by the farmer. So there are solutions, good solutions brought in by competition. Like there are companies who are capturing images of large hectares, a large farm using drone.
Drone tech.
What we are saying is, for us, it is a mobile phone. You run the application on a mobile phone, you give it to a farmer. Every farmer today, I would believe 85-90% of the farmers today would be using a smartphone. You just need to capture an image and you have a recommendation, you have the results in less than 30 seconds. So that is what we have. Now we have connected every piece into our application because environment and sustainability is the goal with which we have built the application. So right from soil to seed to crop and then to connect the toxicity exposure is something which is there, and we have been able to patent this technology. So that is where we automatically differentiate ourselves with the other players.
Technology.
This is my own technology embedded into the application, because there has to be a benchmark. How would a farmer know? Everybody wants to promote organic farming, but how would they know whether or not they are in line, aligned to what they want to do? That is where we bring in this piece, this mobile piece, which will guide them, train them on what are the best practices to be followed, and that is everything kind of available in our product, which is Agri 360.
Shantanu, while I understood how the overall ecosystem is functioning, I'm very keen to understand, where did this love start from? So be it in terms of helping out the farmers, or being in terms of ensuring that there's a proper yield and everyone, all the mouths have food to eat.
So I have always believed, as an organization, see, we started, as I mentioned, in the services space. Yes. But as an entrepreneur, as a founder of this company, and even before this company was floated, I always believed that if we take that responsibility of floating an organization, it has to impact a much larger mass, larger population. And then when we were looking at aspects, where do we, healthcare obviously also has a very large impact. But we had, I saw there were already many players bringing in whatever they would in that space. Agri was something which has always been very close to my heart. So I thought, why not look at something which we can do for the farmers? And we had that domain understanding from the services space from which we started, from where we came in. And we thought, why not productize? We had the innovation team. So we run an innovation lab as well. As we speak, we are working with the government of Bihar, and we are part of Agro Bihar, which is going on. We are told that there are about close to 50,000 farmers would be attending that, and they would actually live get to see what we want to bring in. So we are still doing all those validations before we finally roll out the product, because we want to take the feedback back into the product, make it more user friendly, because finally it has to be the adoption by the farmers. As we go down the roadmap, this will come out as an aggregator where we believe the farmers will be able to drive e-commerce through this platform. Anyway, all those assistance by way of AI is being provided. They have the good agricultural practice. They have the crop scheduling for all the kind of different crops which are being cultivated. But then finally, after having adopted all these, they will still need the best of the seed suppliers to supply seeds to them. Once they have understood the requirement of chemical, they would still have to connect to a pesticide supplier or a chemical supplier. All these things can then, as an aggregation platform, will be able to connect the suppliers with the consumers. So that is how it is going to work. And on the other side of the integration, once you have a produce, you have to sell the produce. E-commerce also will happen through this platform. So
when we say AI, the whole globe is debating pros versus cons. What's your take? And how does your company really hedge against those, say, privacy issues and security issues and other things like that?
So AI is an enabler. That is what we believe. And as I mentioned, it is still artificial. So artificial intelligence, who will give shape to that intelligence? The human mind. So it is left to us how we can make best use of AI. So what we are doing at our end to hedge risk is, see here, data is the important piece. So the validation, so it is junk in, junk out. If you are not being able to have the validation done right at the data stage, you will end up recommending something which is not of use. But how does this validation happen? This validation, so we are tying up with likes of ICAR, Indian Council for Agricultural Research, various agronomists, because they are the ones who are providing us the legacy data which is then fed into the model, into the system, so that we are able to bring in the AI component to understand the data well and then do the recommendation. So we have that agronomist support. We are looking at likes of ICAR, the other institutes who can provide us with. See, finally, I believe everybody part of this ecosystem. We heard some of the ministers speak yesterday, and we are talking of using sugarcane to manufacture ethanol, right? So which means agri definitely is a focus. It's an important aspect, because we are looking at various other areas where we can bring in crops and bring in the usage of those crops in so many other different industry verticals, right? So hence it becomes a focus area for everybody. And we are talking of green revolution. That is also something which we have plugged in. So for me, I believe that AI is an enabler. It is left to us how we want to use it. Adoption, trust, all those aspects get built when we directly on the ground connect and show how we are bringing in that value to the farmers. And that is what the team on the field is doing. While we are doing both the aspects. We are connecting with the farmers on the ground, giving them a walkthrough, showing them how this will bring value. And when they understand that it is not about data breach or anything, it is just about what they get
helping them out eventually.
Directly helping them out. They get that confidence. See, finally, Blue Cocoon Digital is a technology company. So we can only do so much in terms of taking the technology. We are focused more on bringing in R&D to the technology which we are building. And then we obviously would require support from government and people who the farmers would trust more than us to get the technology pushed. As I mentioned, we are connected with government of BR. We are talking to the other governments and saying that, hey, this is what we are bringing in. Why don't you try it out? Because the more AI is used and as the data gets enriched from the usage is where it is going to benefit the farmers more. So that is how it is. So it's a continual kind of a thing, AI. The better, and it's like a child picking up language, right? Initially, like how we have grown up right from being the learning thing. So you keep feeding the right set of data to the AI model, and then it will be able to provide you the results more close to what exactly the desired results are.
I would want to also know what's the long-term vision statement for Blue Cocoon.
Long-term vision statement for me is to get as many farmers adopt the platform which is for their use. That is, obviously the vision is to keep improving the tool, the product, the Agri360 platform which we have is the vision of the organization. From a mission perspective, I would want everybody, it's a huge population we are talking of, as many we can get covered on the platform, because the more people use, the more the platform is going to get enriched and it is going to impact a larger mass.
Thank you so much, Shantanu, for those excellent
Thank you.
insights.
My pleasure.